There is a call center, so everybody calls the call center, and depending on their preference and location, we allocate them the clinic. We also try taking a little history before they come in. When they come in, the history is already fed into the system, and then there is a doctor who will take all their entire history, again online, and then depending on the requirement, either he'll meet a dietitian or a consultant. When he meets a consultant, the consultant gives them enough time, looks at what they have, this thing, talks to them, and understands and counsels them. If needed, then they go through a LifeSpan risk test, and then any other diagnostics if required for them. We also follow up next day to understand the feedback, saying what happened, how did they feel about the clinic, and then after 15 days, we again follow up with them in terms of are they following the regimen, are they following what they need to do, have they been counseled properly, and are they following the counselling, things like that.
How many clinics are there in Bombay right now?
4.
4. And you have franchises?
The 3 of them are franchises, 1 of us is owned by us.
Any specific requirement for a franchisee to become a part of LifeSpan?
Well, it will be good if they are diabetic first. That's the first requirement. Okay. So one of my requirements is if they are a diabetic or if their relative or a friend is a diabetic, they will understand what diabetes is about. And I think that's my first requirement.
It's not a very difficult thing.
It's not a difficult thing at all because diabetics has become the new normal. Yeah. So therefore, that's the kind of requirement which is there. The second thing is, are they committed to this cause? And the third one is obviously things like, do they have a 1,000 square foot shop, and do they have a place of 1,000 square foot, and can they invest about 15-20 lakhs in it? But I think more we are looking for is like-minded people who will create a difference.
Do you have a research center or anything? Yes?
No, we don't have any research center.
No research is being done.
No.
What about diabetes-related disorders? How do you address them? Like retinopathy or...
Correct. We are not addressing them at this point in time, but in future we have our plans to address them. So at this point in time, if we find anybody, we refer him to various specialists.
And how many doctors are there?
All over 4 clinics, I think about 16, 17 doctors.
And other than Mumbai, any others?
We soon be there in Hyderabad, Bangalore, Ahmedabad, Chennai.
Right now you don't have?
No.
Any patient awareness program? Can you just tell about it?
Oh yeah, we've been doing a large amount of patient awareness program. For example, we did something very interesting. World Diabetes Day actually also falls on Children's Day in India. So we actually went around to various public places, talking to parents and giving a small balloon as a symbol to say, give them a healthy lifestyle, don't let them become diabetic, protect them young. So that's what we did. Second thing is we have a simple test which has been created by our doctors and different diabetic associations, which people can take. It's a self-assessment test which people can take to understand are they pre-diabetic or something like that. And again, this is being administered as we speak in different public spaces in Mumbai. So that we're creating awareness about what is this all about and things like that.
Any CSR activities you are doing right now?
I believe this itself is CSR.
And apart from India, do you have any plans to go abroad?
Interesting question. Somebody actually came to me 3 days back and said, can I get a franchise for Africa? Okay. So yes, yeah, we would. Though it's too early for us because we're 2 months old and we just 4 clinics in Bombay. But yeah, why not?
How is your own diabetes management right now?
Sometimes the numbers don't look good. But the good thing is in the last 18 years, I don't think I lost single 1 hour of productivity because of my diabetes. So I didn't think I even lost
What is the secret for that?
One, I believe, and this is something which is very, diabetes is a good disease to have. Okay, it lets you live 10 years longer if you can work with it, if you can embrace it, and if you can control it. It's actually nature telling you, look, there's something wrong with your lifestyle. Can you improve it? And if you improve that lifestyle, nature can give you another 10 years. The second thing is, being positive about it. Oh God, it's not a death sentence for you. It's just saying there's a lifestyle disorder in your life. Can you correct it? Okay. And if you can understand that and embrace that positively, I think it can work for you. Lastly, the other thing was when a doctor told me, take insulin, I had no hesitation, no doubt. He said I took it, except he didn't tell me how to take it. And that's where the biggest problem happened. The counseling, the thing to say how to take insulin. Though I had no hesitation about taking insulin. And I think that's another very interesting thing. As soon as you start growing, the best method is to handle with the insulin.
How does your patients take? Are they forthcoming in taking insulin?
No, we've not gone to that level at all. We are right now at the stage where we're looking at saying how can we understand them, what can we do with them. We're not putting them on insulin, doing anything like that. That's my personal opinion.
And you just refer to the doctor once that patient comes with this problem?
Yeah, the doctors decide what they want to do depending on their diabetes, so I can't tell them what to do about that. Doctors decide depending on the problem, depending on the severity of the diabetes, should you put on insulin or not.
Can you tell us about your counseling? What kind of counseling do you do and how do you do it actually for patients?
All right. First of all, I think the time given, each patient is about close to 20 to 30 minutes. You actually sit with him, you understand, you explain to him that like I said, diabetes is just a lifestyle disorder and it's not a death sentence. Second, counseling them about various steps they can do. For example, one of the things which I've talked to my doctors is sitting is the new smoking. If people stop sitting, that itself can will be a 5% win over diabetes. We sit for 14 hours a day. If we just stop that and let's say cut down to half of that, that itself can be this thing, right? Second is sugar and unnecessary carbohydrates is the new nicotine. Sugar is the new nicotine.
Okay, sugar
is the new nicotine. Yeah. So therefore, if you have that kind of things to look at, the other thing is about medication. I mean, I know a lot of diabetics who don't take their medication seriously. Just taking medication on time. If I have to take a medication half an hour before, I have to take it half an hour before. But I don't think most people follow that. So the other thing is just take medication on time. Okay? Diabetes is not about medicine. Diabetes is about awareness, counseling, and lifestyle corrections.
Okay. And how many patients actually walk into your clinics every day?
They don't walk in, they come by appointments.
Okay.
We don't allow anybody walk-ins. We take everything only by appointment.
Okay, so how many of them in a day?
We're 2 months old, but good statistics last week, World Diabetes Day, we got about 1,000 appointments and we got about 600 people actually coming in.
600 people out of the appointments?
Yes, 1,000 appointments.
And how many of them are really diabetic or are they just...
98% are diabetic.
They already know that they are diabetic?
Yeah.
And are there any people coming who don't seem to be having diabetes?
Some of them, yes, pre-diabetic stage. They come for either testing themselves or asking what can I do about it.
Okay. When you talk about pre-diabetes testing, what actually entails that? What is the pre-diabetes testing that you do? Okay.
One of the markers for pre-diabetic, and I'm not a doctor, but one of the markers for pre-diabetes is insulin resistance. Therefore, if you can non-invasively, today the method of measurement for insulin resistance is invasive, cumbersome, time-consuming. Whereas if we can non-invasively do it in 7 minutes and tell them there is a marker for insulin resistance, and if you can work on it and change that marker, that could help you to work on your pre-diabetes.
Mr. Jain, when you say a marker for insulin resistance...
No, insulin resistance is a marker for pre-diabetes.
Okay, which essentially means that the person's body is producing insulin, but that is being resisted by the body's system.
It's a slightly complicated medical term, insulin resistance. I really can't explain it. But what it really means is either your system is not utilizing your insulin which you're making or not making enough.
Okay. And when it comes to juvenile diabetes, how many people actually come with juvenile diabetes to your clinic?
Actually, we've not got any with juvenile diabetes. We right now, because we are early in the business, we've not even looked at that.
No, what I'm saying is, are there
There are inquiries
type
for it.
1?
There are inquiries for it, but we don't take those appointments
Oh, why so?
because we are more concentrated on type 2 diabetes right now.
I see, which is more related to lifestyle.
Lifestyle.
Okay. Now, can you also tell us about the trends that are happening in diabetes in India today? Do you think that culturally we are more prone to diabetes?
I
No,
think,
specifically,
yeah,
I'll
I
ask
understand.
you.
Yeah.
It's about the thrifty genes,
Yes.
which is so prevalent in India and India alone.
Right. So I don't think it's got to do with culture. It's got to do with genes. So I've read a lot of studies which says genetically we are programmed to have diabetes. But it doesn't mean, it's like saying that my karma is this and this will happen to me. It doesn't mean that you need to get that. Actually, genetically, yes, we may be programmed to do that, but ultimately, what we do triggers it. If we don't do what we do, or if we did what we should have been doing, it would have got triggered.
Mr. Jain, my drift was something else. I was essentially trying to understand, the thrifty genes tells you that people are eating more, they are eating better food, and that's essentially why more and more people in India are getting diabetes. Which essentially means that, culturally as well as professionally, all these years we have all been farm workers, and we are supposed to be working harder and eating less. Now we work less and eat more and more nourishment.
Correct.
And that's essentially causing, this diabetes to be an epidemic.
Okay. So the answer, like I said, the problem of eating disorder is there worldwide. It's not true to Indians. I think it's true everywhere. Okay. So I don't think it's got anything to do with India. Yes, genetically Asians have much more tendency, and genetically they have diabetic genes, and therefore the lifestyle disorder triggers it. But worldwide, not eating healthy is a worldwide trend and not just to India.
Okay, Mr. Jain, this again about this lifestyle, because you deal more with type 2. I'm tempted to ask you this question. Do you really think it's a lifestyle disease? Because nowadays, even again, farm workers, laborers are getting diabetes, and they are not going to McDonald's or Pizza Hut for their daily dose of, daily meal. So why is that, people who have been eating good food and living a healthy lifestyle still contract diabetes?
The answer is they change their lifestyle somewhere along the way. And you need not be going to McDonald's. That's not the guilt. That's not the guilty one all the time. It could be stress in their life which could trigger it. Okay, it could be more sitting, or it could be they were doing farming in a different way. Now they've got tractors to do it. So therefore, it's a change in lifestyle which has happened to each one of us, including a farm worker, which is triggering this.
I see. And do you think that in terms of regions in India, when you set up your clinics in Bangalore and Hyderabad, do you think any particular region will be more susceptible to diabetes?
There is a lot of data which says South and Ahmedabad and places like that are susceptible. But like I said, diabetes is the new normal. I think it's there everywhere now. Either they don't know it, or they are aware they don't want to know about it. Right? And I think therefore, yes, there is regionality, but very soon that will disappear.
What could be the reason for that particular? Is it only diet, or is it again something related to their genes?
I am not very sure about it. I'm not very competent to answer that.
I'm trying to understand, because you are in this business where you might be getting a lot of feedback from the market or from the population. What kind of people get diabetes? Where is it more prevalent? I'm trying to understand that.
Sure. I don't think I'm competent even to answer that question. A, like I said, we're 2 months old, and B, the answers are different. Some people blame refined rice for it. Some people blame refined wheat flour for it.
Refined oil.
Refined oil for it. Anything which is refined, actually they say anything which is white is a trouble for you, right? So salt and sugar and anything which is white is a problem for you. So diabetics should keep away from the white color. So I really don't think I'm competent to answer why is it happening at different places.
Okay, Mr. Jain, you're just 2 months old, you say. So for the last 14 years, what has been in diabetes? What have you been doing?
We've been working with various pharma companies to launch diabetic drugs, to help them launch diabetic drugs. So that's what we've been doing. But LifeSpan as an idea, like the vision germinated long back as an idea is about 6 months old, and in the last 2 months it's got fructified.
And what did you help, I mean, how did you help pharma companies launch their drugs?
I don't know if you want to do it off the line, but we have a separate company which does that. It's got nothing to do with LifeSpan. We own another company called Oxygen.
So this is basically a sister concern.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. Now, when it comes to related disorders, what do you think would be the future? There are lots of people who talk about cure for diabetes. There are two aspects of it. First of all, is there a cure coming in? I mean, why should a cure come in? Because diabetes by nature is not a disease per se. So, will there a cure come at all?
I think at least whatever little I understand about science and technology of diabetes, the word cure doesn't go with diabetes. All you can do is manage it or reverse it. Reversal means bringing the severity down, bringing your medication down, bringing your issues and problems down. But I don't think there's a cure for it. It's not like that you had fever and it'll go away.
Okay. And when it comes to even managing diabetes, what do you think is the real reason for bad management of diabetes? Is it because of non-compliance? Is it because of lack of awareness? Or is it because the lack of symptoms of diabetes? There is no trouble.
It's just discipline and willpower. The symptoms come in, we ignore it. The awareness is there, we don't want to know more. It's just simply discipline and willpower.